Good evening. Thank you for all you do for the church in so many, many different ways. Your volunteerism, your generosity, and all your prayers. Thank you for the gift you gave to Covenant House last year for our human trafficking efforts. We are most grateful. Covenant House cares for, this past year, over 800 youth and children. 70 to 80% of them have been physically and sexually abused. 30% of them have been in foster care. 40% of our young men have been to juvie or to jail. 20% of our young women. Our kids are the most damaged set of adolescents that exist in society. Years of abuse, violence, and trauma. What do they share in common? Their goodness, their beauty, and how brave they are, and how resilient they are. Tonight at Covenant House, we will care for 160 young people. In fact, 22 mothers and 34 children, but 160 in total. We used your funds last year for our human trafficking efforts. Sherry, who you might have seen in the video for the Catholic Foundation dinner, was supposed to be with me today, but she had an emergency. Sherry always has emergencies because she's our lead case manager for human trafficking. 20 years ago, Sherry was at Covenant House as a young person. I love Sherry. Every day I tell Sherry that I love her and I'm proud of her. Because at the age of 7, she was removed from her home because she and her 2 siblings were being abused by their father. Sherry went through 20 different group homes. She lived on the street, and we found her in a parking lot on Rampart. And then she came back about 5 years ago to volunteer and then to work part-time, and now she is blossoming. This past 12 months, she has cared for over 81 human trafficking victims. 81. She can call me 24/7 because she gets called 24/7. Sunday we got a call from the police. They brought in a young woman. She was fleeing her human trafficker, her pimp. We put her on a plane on Tuesday with one of our staff and we took her to an out-of-state place for safety. Each child, each young person, we treat differently depending on the situation. Ainsley had a drug-addicted parent who sometimes would trade her daughter for drugs. Ainsley worked in strip clubs and worked for a pimp. And if she didn't bring home what she needed to, $1,000 on weekends per night, he would beat her with a stripper pole. Janice first tried out to dance in a strip club when she was 4 months pregnant. He told her to come back in something sexy and in heels. And then he told her to take off her clothes so he could see her body. 4 months pregnant. Janice is still with us now. Now she's with us. We're caring for her, and we're caring for a 2-year-old. The third child I'll tell you about is Tabitha. Tabitha, in fact, was in the paper in the last couple of days because the U.S. Attorney's Office prosecuted a human trafficker, I think by the name of Michael White. We work with FBI, U.S. Attorney, NOPD, state police. We work with all of law enforcement. We work with Catholic Charities. We work with Eden House. We work with the Family Justice Center and a whole host of social service agencies. In fact, we are heading up now the Greater New Orleans Human Trafficking Task Force. We see more human trafficking victims than anybody else. And Sherry does remarkable work. She's becoming overwhelmed. We're giving her lots of staff support. Now my wife comes in twice a week. And I say to my wife, yes, I want you to help the clients, but I want you to zero in on Sherry and all she needs to do what she does. We are blessed by wonderful, wonderful staff. We are blessed by wonderful, wonderful donors. We're blessed by wonderful volunteers. And I just want to say thank you so much for all that you do. 83% of our funds comes from people just like you. But the last thing I leave with you with is please pray for our kids. Please pray for them. And remember, they are good, and they are beautiful, and they are brave. Thank you.